Hello, I would like to explain to you what's going on in the multiplication section. And it's so much fun. We've got flashcards, we've got posters, we've got games. We really want kids to have experience with the strategies, and we want them to engage in ongoing practice over time in a way that's exciting. So I'm going to start with posters. And the posters you can hang up in your room so that kids see the strategies and the models. So we have posters like just about, the vocabulary and what the words are. And then we've got, like posters that explain different concepts. So this one is, about square numbers. And then we've got posters that talk about like the strategies. So when you multiply by 0, you get 0, right? Nothing, zilch. And then that's a poster on it. Or what happens when you multiply by 1, or what happens when you multiply by 4. So there's lots of strategies. There's also model posters. Remember, there's always a difference between strategies and models. Strategies are like what you're doing with the numbers, and models are how you're showing it. So a number line isn't a strategy. A number line is a model, right? So you want to make sure, I tell people, hang these in your classroom. They're evergreen posters. Leave them up all year long so that kids can constantly refer. And I can say, instead of what's the answer, I can say, what strategy did you use? And I can say, and what was your model? How did you model it? So there's all these posters, and you can download them. There's other kinds of posters as well, though. So there's like posters like this that have different ways of showing multiples. And there's various sets of these. So be sure to pull these down. And then there's also like, this is a strategy, this is a multiples poster. And then there's just like a straight out times tables poster. So there's all these different kinds of posters. And then there's like individual reference posters that you can make for kids as well. And then we have postcards, not postcards. We have flashcards. And there's all kinds of flashcards. So this is a flashcard looking at, how do we think about 5 times 10? How might we think about 10 times 6? And it's visual. So a lot of our flashcards are visual. This is a really cool game. And it's just where the kids have to match the community property, the addition sentence, the array, equal groups. So they match all of these cards and make sets. Here's a special set of flashcards that I made especially for 4th and 5th grade using the array model with larger numbers. I think that's really, really important. And these are so fun. These are puzzle flashcards. So they see, like on this side, it'll say, oh, the numbers are 8, 16, 8, and 4. And the kids have to see, like, well, how does that balance? Like, what 2 expressions can I make that balance that out? And then they see, 4 times 16 is 64, and 8 times 8 is 64. So these are really fun flashcards. They're puzzle flashcards. There's these flashcards, which we love because they are visual and they're commutative. And you can print them out different ways. So you could print them out back to back, or you can print them out and then have the kids play matching games, right? So love those. And then there's, the traditional flashcards. Kids really need to see the traditional flashcards and experience those as well. And then there's these really cool flashcards. They're even and odd flashcards. And so the kids look at the fact, and then they like 3 times 5. It's an odd times an odd. So what kind of answer are you going to get? And then they flip it and they say, oh, it's an odd. So that's one of the standards that kids actually understand what happens when you multiply, and even times an even, and odd times an odd, and even times an odd. So that's just a visualization of that idea. And then there are all the board games, and there's so many different ones. So like there's this one, multiplying by 0 and 1. So we do a lot of these where we're like multiplying by 2 and 4, multiplying by 5 and 10. And then we try to print everything and have everything available in black and white and color. Now, Not everything is that, but a lot of things are that. And so here's just like a straightforward board game. This one's multiplying by 3. Here's another one that's multiplying by 3. Here's another one that's a space game multiplying by 5 and 10, because we want kids to relate and know that those things are related. Here's another one multiplying by 0 and 1. It's just a different landscape. And then these are really cool. They have a hint at the bottom. Now, the kids don't have to use a hint, but this flashcard says, hint, multiply by 10 and then subtract 1. So this flashcard is multiplying by 9s. But as you can see on the game, it's like 9 times 7. You could think 10 times 7 minus 7. And so it's set up as a hint on the flashcard. So those are really cool. And then we have like tons of bingo games. Bingo any kind of way you want. Bingo served any kind of way you want. So there's tons of bingo games. And then there's other, like this is a partner game, right? As opposed to this could be a team game, right? So there's different kind of game boards. There's this one that's, focused on multiplying by 7. This one multiplying by 1, right? So, but these are 4 in a row. So we have like 4 in a row central, where there's different games for multiplying, for playing 4 in a row. So the point is, we've got so much stuff for you to download and set up your workstations for multiplication, where kids can zero in and think in terms of patterns, right? The emphasis is like really getting kids to think in terms of patterns. Remember that a lot of the research is about patterns. So you want kids to know their zeros and their ones first, right? And then you want them to think 10 and 5, because those are related. 5 is half of 10. And then you want them to start thinking in patterns. 2, 4, 8, 3, 6, 9. And then when they're done with all that, they can do their 7s. Because 7s, after all, is any combination of all that other stuff that they've learned. And then, I always say review squares. So that's a little bit about what you'll find in the multiplication section. So check it out.